been 5 months. Yes, 5 months since the biggest announcement made by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on swearing-in day, where he said the words, "The fuel subsidy is gone." A cross-section of Nigerians are worried about the growing economic challenges that has raised the cost of petrol, diesel, and currently cooking gas, followed by a plethora of promises and very little impact. While many will agree that the task ahead is immense, others are worried at how quick promises are made with very little to show for it.
This is why a recent article by the Financial Times in London x-rayed how the most populous black nation is doing economically under the leadership of President Tinubu. Some of the points highlighted in the article themed Nigeria's economic reforms need to regain momentum were: 1. How the government uses the $10 billion saved from subsidy money to improve people's lives. 2. The removal of Godwin Emefiele with the charge of firearms possession was odd and smacked of political revenge. 3. A lack of clarity regarding how the vulnerable will receive support during these tough times and how they will be selected. 4. How President Tinubu, should also refrain from announcing plans, including the restoration of democracy in Niger, without any real idea of how to implement them. Execution, of course, is key. This is, of course, in reaction to the war in Niger and how he had said he will restore democracy. But unfortunately, people are asking, if your country hasn't had democracy restored, well, how can you guarantee that, hasn't had democracy running optimally? How can you guarantee that in another one? Now, these are just a few other things we highlighted regarding the past 5 months in office. And to discuss this, we have joining us to talk about the current economy of Africa's most populous nation, Alesta Wilcox. He's the immediate past chairman of ICAN Lagos and District Society. Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning. It's a pleasure having me. I'm delighted to be on your call this morning.
All right. So let's get into the meat of the article and some of the points that were earlier on raised and areas that were looked at to find out what your thoughts are, especially in how President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has run the government in the past 5 months. Yesterday, we had reports about cooking gas amounting to 1,200 naira to the litre, which would, of course, mean an increase in the cost of living. At the onset of his office, the first thing he said was that subsidy is gone, and this automatically meant that we saw an increase in the price of fuel. Very recently also, we heard that subsidy was back again, a claim that the government has come out to deny. We're not quite sure what's happening, but one thing we're sure about is that the cost of living has skyrocketed and the people are struggling. What would you say are your thoughts about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's, the way that in which he has run the government so far, how exactly the poor people are managing to survive, and what the future is for the underprivileged? Not just the underprivileged, all Nigerians at this point.
Well, I am also struggling to survive. We're not talking about only the underprivileged, it's everybody. I'm also suffering to survive. Presently, I'm in Abuja. We're having the 53rd Annual Accountancy Conference, and these are some of the issues that we are considering about the country, and how it is going. No gainsaying that when there's a policy change, there's also going to be some major economic problems that's associated with it. Now, the two policies that we are looking at here is the total deregulation of the fuel subsidy, of the fuel energy sector, which the last law being the removal of subsidy on petroleum. Remember, let's also put it on perspective. Before now, diesel has been deregulated. Cooking gas was not subsidized. All these things have been deregulated before now. So the only link that was remaining that took place on the 29th of May was the PMS, which was removed, and the government was no longer ready to pay for anybody. Which is, and when we're talking about fuel subsidy, either is it being restored or not, we must put it in perspective. The government pays a premium for you for using fuel, for you and I. But that is what the subsidy is all about. Now, it's unfortunate that reactions to policies are different in Nigeria, and it's a Nigerian thing. I understand that the government is not having a firm grip because, like you said in your intro, that policy came as a shock. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not saying I'm certain. I'm not sure if that statement was part of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's speech on that day. I am not sure because that statement came out as a matter of something that was not being read from the speech. So it's like shooting the animal before aiming, and that's some of the things that most Nigerians understand, because after making that pronouncement, and Nigerians are quick to react to things. That is a major aspect that we have. We are quick to react to a thing. The way the reaction took place immediately, and everything just begins to turn upside down, even when some of these things do not have economic fundamentals. So we most times inflict pain in ourselves, and who will blame is the government. I agree to the fact that the government has not been able to get a grip of the whole situation. Now we've been talking about palliative, we're talking about one thing or the other. The labor has been up in arms, and these things are bringing up too many uncertainties that is worsening the situation, because every day, when I'm sure after I finish speaking now, those that hears what I speak, what we discussed this morning, it might have some effect, because somebody will just wake up and increase price or something and say, oh, somebody said this will happen, that will happen. So these are some of the bad side of our society, where panic drives a lot of things. Now, talking about the price of fuel, if it has been restored, if subsidy has been restored or not, the truth of the matter is, it will be in the best interest of everybody for us to keep having this minimum subsidy, fuel being subsidized, because if you allow the price, like they have said, market forces to drive it, it will go out of place, out of control. Because this is just a situation where Nigerians live too much in panic. Today we don't even hear of the truth, even from government agencies. Today we are suffering we are having a bit of scarcity of fuel again, and the agency that is NNPC is not giving the true picture. I'm in Abuja now. Right now in Abuja there is queues, and I see people selling fuel in jerry can. As I said yesterday, I've not gone out this morning. As yesterday, I see people selling fuel in jerry can, and something that we thought would have been long gone with the regulation, because nobody sells diesel in can, in jerry can. So there's too much uncertainty, and we are part of the problem. The government has its own challenges in not being able to have a firm grip as to what are supposed to be the remedies when this thing happens. You say you are deregulating. I mean, you are managing the exchange rate, which, as far as I'm concerned, you have just devalued the naira. And I said it. You cannot match exchange in Nigeria. It's not possible, because the black market, you don't have control. So when you don't have control of the black market, that's the autonomous market, you don't have control of it. So how are you managing it? Today, when that policy was announced, remember, naira was exchanged for about 700 in the black market and 400 in the official market. The moment that policy was announced, the official market moved to about 740 or thereabout. And what happened to the black market? Today, we're over 1,000 and keep rising. So it is a lot of mess that both the government and the individuals, and we as individuals, are putting ourselves into. And the worst part of it is, if the government is doing a thing and the public is not reacting negatively the way we are reacting, yes, the government can have a control easily. But when the public, the society, we the public, are reacting in such a manner that panic is just driving everything, then there's no way the government will have a control. And my fear is, let us not have one post one day and everything becomes very, very messy. That will be able to correct.
All right, Mr. Wilcox, you've looked at it from two aspects now. In all your speech, in all your responses, rather, you've talked about Nigerians also having a part in this blame, and also the government. But let's also look at these. I have twofold questions for you. The first one is the national president of Pengassin, Mr. Festus Osif, has come out to say that the federal government is still paying subsidy. All right. And the federal government comes back just yesterday saying that they're not paying subsidy. So we seem to have a communication problem, even from the government, trickling down to the public. I feel maybe that's the more reason why people are panic buying, just as you've said in Abuja. Here in Lagos is also the same. We see a lot of filling stations not selling, and you need to go as far as another place for you to get. So one of the questions I'm asking right now is, don't you think that the current Minister of Petroleum, which of course is being represented by the President himself, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, don't you think it's time for him to address Nigerians and let them know what is actually going on? That's one. Which also falls under communication, which has been a problem with this dispensation, if I put it that way. Secondly, you also make mention of the fact that you're seeing people selling fuels in jerry cans and so on and so forth. My question would be, you are very conversant with numbers. Do you think that the fuel price will be stabilized anytime soon? Because we're hearing that it will go up, it will come down. I mean, you've seen it all. Do you think it would be stabilized anytime soon?
Thank you. Most often than not, I blame the press for some of the narratives or the nomenclature you attach to issues. And for me, it's sad that sometimes we don't situate these issues properly. And I've asked this question several forums. When we say federal government is paying fuel subsidy, is paying subsidy, the question I ask is paying subsidy to who? Now, that has become a nomenclature in this country. Government is paying fuel subsidy. Government is paying fuel subsidy. Paying to who? Now, I think the better narrative is that government is still subsidizing fuel. Because we're talking about paying subsidy, we now attach the corruption, which I am not exonerating people. There's a lot of corruption in the process.
Exactly.
But let me also say that when we say government is subsidized, we should have been saying government is subsidizing because government is paying it for you, to you, and to me. So the better word is government is still subsidizing fuel. Because we keep saying paying, it connotes that there is somebody somewhere that the government is paying the money to. Meanwhile, the money is being paid to you. Because if the price of fuel, as of today, it should have been about 700 or 800 or thereabout, as of today, given the kind of indices that we have been told. Then, if you are still buying it at 567 naira, which I bought last, 568 naira, which I bought last in Lagos, then government has paid some of the money for me. Because if they buy it at the level of 600 or 700 and they should be selling it at 800, and they sell to me at 568 naira, which was the last I bought in Lagos before I came back to Abuja, then government has paid some money to me. So we must put the nomenclature right, and it will be in the best interest and for all of us, including you, that government should keep subsidizing for now. Because if that subsidy is totally removed and you ask Nigerians to go and source fuel from anywhere, you know, today the price of diesel is about 1,000 naira. So what do you think that fuel should remain at 500 naira? It's not possible. So if the price of diesel, remember when this policy took effect, the price of diesel was died, and that's why I said the Nigerian factor into some of this. And the NNPC, with due respect to the NNPC, is not telling anybody the truth. That's just for me. That for me is the biggest pain. As a financial analyst, it's the biggest pain. NNPC is not telling anybody the truth. NNPC is not giving Nigerians the templates upon which this calculation has been done. We keep having speculation. Marketers are saying, oh, landing cost is 600. This NNPC, give us the templates. Let us know what the template is. Why would it be shared in secrecy? And then if government is still subsidizing, let us know the consumption. Of course, as far as I'm concerned, consumption has nosedived drastically since after the regulation. You know it. Yeah, I mean, the usual bottleneck traffic in Lagos has disappeared. And so it is in many parts of the country. You go to Ibadan, go to everywhere. Cars have limited fuel on the road. Apart from maybe the heavy users now are those that use it for energy in their home. And for generator and all that. And all that. So consumption has nosedived drastically. So if we come clean, if NNPC come clean to Nigerians, and let us know the actual consumption. Let us know the template within which you are pricing this fuel. Right. Let us know the aspect of the of that price template that the government can remove. Because listen, some of the costs that are associated with with bringing fuel to Nigeria, since we are still not yet refining, is some of the taxes, duties, and other levies. Let's know the ones that government is taking up. So we must come clean, because the speculation is driving everybody nuts. And that is why when there is serious speculation, too much information that are not real, that are sometimes in the realm of speculation, in the realm of gossip, then it keeps driving Nigeria. Nigerians are good at reacting to speculations, to uncertainties. By the time that's why you see that people are selling food in Abuja now in Jerrycan, because they believe that the thing is not there, and filling stations will just lock their stations, because they will think that the stock they have, the price might increase the next day, so they will cash out and all that. This is what is happening. Sometimes panic buying, sometimes hoarding in the part of the operators. So there is a lot of mess. Who is hoarding diesel? Nobody. And let me say this about cooking gas. Regrettably, I don't even know why the price of cooking gas is going up, because most of the gas is domestically produced. And so for cooking gas to be going up, so there is a minister in charge of gas. There is a minister in charge of gas. He should come up and tell Nigerians what is happening. Is there supply glut? So even if there's supply glut, should it affect the price? Are we paying for cooking gas in Nigeria, that's produced in Nigeria, in dollars? Is it dollarized? There's something must be said. Silence is not golden. Speculations are not right, and I don't want to keep speculating and be putting panic in the lives of the people. The government, the NNPC, and must come clean with the templates and with the consumption pattern, so that Nigerians will know. So that if the government is subsidizing for me and you, we'll appreciate what they are doing. Not be running to town. The government is paying something, paying. I don't know who they are paying to. And the best I know, they are paying part of what I consume if the price that they are getting it is higher than the price they are selling to me. And that should be the narrative.
Okay, let's talk about exactly what the money saved from here is, being used for. According to the article, in the previous year, that cost the government $10 billion to be able to subsidize fuel for us. You've talked about the fact that there is a lack of clarity as to what exactly is being done in terms of NNPC not being very open and not being very straightforward, federal government also not, being very open. What are the expectations in terms of the president coming to give us clarity as to what exactly they're doing, what exactly they've done with the money that has been saved by them not subsidizing fuel? And are we expecting that there would actually be an address in this regard? Also, you mentioned that it is in our best interest that the federal government continues to subsidize fuel for us. Will this then mean that the prices of goods, services, and the price of fuel will revert to the rate it was pre the announcement that fuel subsidy is gone?
Well, let me take it from the last. I say it is very good for the government to keep subsidizing for now at the current price. Remember, before the removal, we were paying at below 200 naira, 170 and thereabout. So. And then so people reacted, and they're basing their prices on 170 and all that. So if now the thing moved up to about 500 to 600 in some places, then I said it is in the best interest of the government to keep subsidizing for now, to maintain it at this level, so it doesn't spill out of control to something of 800, 900, 1,000 per liter of fuel. That would be economic suicide. The price of goods may not revert. Nigerians are people that are very, very greedy and very, very shylock in nature in terms of economic pricing. And I've said it in several fora. The price today we pay, most of them do not have economic indices. We are paying Nigerian factor price into some of our goods and services. People don't see that the increase price. And that's why today I'm wondering why the price of domestic gas is skyrocketing. It's going up. I'm wondering, because I cannot find some of the indices. I'm wondering why the price of foodstuffs, basic foodstuffs that we produce in Nigeria, and I wonder why it is going up, because the indices are not there. Sometimes we blame transportation, and I tell people transportation is the least unit cost. If we want to do proper costing, transportation is the least unit cost that affect prices, because by the time you go and buy a 1,000 units of goods and your price has increased by 100%, if you spread it among those goods, it will be negligible. But you discover that every market woman, every listing, they will tell you, price of transport has gone up, therefore they've put 10 naira, they will put 100 naira in their prices because they paid extra 200 naira to the bus conductors. So these are some of the anomalies we have in our society, and for which we should be having a thorough conversation, even at the level of the micro, even at the macro level, to educate people. Now, the most important question, which I think we should address, is what happens to the freed money? And we've been having several, if you look at the fact distribution in the last 3 months, we're having things monthly distribution in essence of ₦1 trillion, and the government is giving us some savings. Now, remember, money is shared between the federal, state, and local government. It's not just the federal government. And most often than not, the states get a larger share of this money, especially from VAT, value added tax, from electronic money transfer. The states get a lot of money. And the government, and the state government and the federal government has been coming up with all kinds of funny, as far as I'm concerned, funny arrangements in terms of palliative, sharing of rice, sharing of this. Those are things that can, they are just window dressing. As far as I'm concerned at this point in time, is that the government should invest more in human capital development, creation of jobs. It might be temporary jobs, it might be temporary jobs to put money in the hands of people. Not giving them rice. If you give them rice today, how many days will you give them rice? You are talking about providing CNG buses. As far as I'm concerned, those are quite elephant projects that will just end up in the cul-de-sac. I remember the time that that the NLC was giving money in 1988 to run a transport system when the price of fuel was increased then by the Bangladesh administration. What happened to that transport system? Except today, Nigerians can, the federal government, and partner with the state government, can establish a transport company that will be managed as the state transport company of Ghana is managed, as the transporter for London, the transporter for London is being managed. Then that's when we can be making a reasonable sense, so that the prices of transport can stabilize. But now, if I say you are giving CNG bus, you want to go in and give to people, it will just end up doing the same thing. There will not be any impact, because Nigerians will kill each other, will be shy off, even where there's no need to increase, but they will increase. And then there must be minimum wage review. So I am proposing more of fiscal intervention into the system. There's some taxes should be reduced. Corporate income tax should be reduced so that money can remain in people's hands. And then there should be ramping up in agricultural production, because we are not paying enough attention to agriculture. The agricultural population is aging out. A lot of people that are supposed to be in the rural areas having in the farms, they are in Lagos, they are in Abuja, doing bus conductor, doing Agbero, harassing people on the street. A lot of them are in the market, say they are selling spare parts, they are selling this. So there must be a reorientation of having our agricultural life back as we used to be. And then value chain employment, agricultural value chain. If those things are done, there will be, and it will not happen in 5 months. Let's be clear about it. Today we are counting one day. These are major policies. It's hurting me, and I must tell you, it's hurting me. So, and it's hurting everybody. But this is what will happen in 5 months. It's not what will happen in 6 months. Maybe in the short term, 1 year, you begin to see some results. But those policies must be well targeted. Those policies, today, the architecture of the financial system has been established. We now have the governor of central bank. We now have the head of the Federal Revenue Services. We now have the ministers. We now have so many things. So we have the infrastructure, the architecture, the management architecture of the economy. We have it in place. So I think they should go to work. It's not a time to sleep. It's time to roll up their sleep. And then the other non-economic factors is what you and I should be talking about. The non-economic factors, which is the arbitrary price increases at the macro level. And I've been saying this about, because you cannot understand why price of staple goods that we eat, that we produce every day, keep going up.
Well,
I was to buy palm oil the other day, and I just heard that it has gone up by over 20%. What are the indices?
So is it not maybe fair? Is it not maybe fair to argue that these people who are selling these products also have to shop in the same markets that we have to shop in? So they also have to face the same inflation that we have to face. They have to buy fuel at a more expensive rate. Transportation, of course, has increased. So all of this has to, in some measure, be reflected in the goods that they're selling. Is that not maybe an argument that they can put up?
Well, if there is a rat race, when will the circle end? So we must, that's why I said there's a non-economic factor to this whole angle. So if I sit down and say, oh, because I'm going to buy under goods, and then as a landlord, I increase my rent by 50%. And then because the man that lives in my house sells potato in the market, and I say because my landlord has increased my rent, I increase the price of my potato. And then the man that comes to buy potato says, oh, because potato has increased, let me increase fish. So where will it end?
It's a good question.
Then it goes back to the landlord. But the landlord will not say that my potato has increased. Let me also increase my rent again. So you see, there is nowhere in the world that such a rat race exists economically and the people survive it. It doesn't happen anywhere in the world. Nigeria is not the country that is facing. Look, before we're even talking about price of fuel today. Ghana has long deregulated. But all of them, they've been deregulated. I mean, what we are paying today is nothing compared to what they are paying. But you discover that nobody is telling you every day the price of fuel has gone up, therefore my goods will go up. It doesn't happen. Yes, when the need arises, when other economic indices. But Nigeria today, and just like you are always expounding in your programs, oh, the price of transport has gone up, therefore the price of goods will go up. Look, let's look at the corporate world. If those that sell soft drink begin to tell you that because diesel price has gone up on a daily basis, their prices will keep going up on a daily basis, is that an argument that you will buy?
Mr. Wilcox,
in the corporate world, we don't buy it because they know how to level up.
I'm finding this conversation, Mr. Wilcox, I'm finding this conversation very, very, very interesting. I mean, I'm sure that we've run out of time, sadly, but it's a conversation that we just found out that it would need more time for us to dissect, especially what the Financial Times put together.
When I'm back from Abuja, I'll come to your studio.
Please come. Let's dissect. We've just looked at one aspect. We have other aspects to look at, how the foreign direct investment is being affected, how the break-in communication, and of course, so much talk about.
The new CBN governor,
of
what
course,
exactly the expectations are.
Exactly. Thank you so much for joining us.
I'll be glad to come over when I'm back from Abuja.
We look forward to have you on Breakfast Central. And congratulations once again. 17th conference, you said, 17 years.
No. This is our own one. This is our own share.
Okay.
We're having our 53rd annual accountancy conference.
Okay.
The shirt I'm wearing is the regional conference that we had last year.
Okay. All right.
So we're having the 53rd annual accountancy conference, and it's going on. We are discussing some of these issues, and communiques will be released, and I hope that it will be beneficial to Nigerians.
We look forward to have it as well. Thank you so much.
I'm delighted. Thank you for having me.
All right.